So ito yung fitness fatigue model. Itong model na to, hindi ito sa akin originally. Natutunan ko ito sa mga evidence-based bodybuilding books, fitness resources. Pero what I did was I simplified it even more para mas madali nyo maintindihan. So kanina diet ang usapang pagkain. Ngayon, usapang workouts naman tayo. So when we learn about progressive overload the first time, ganito yung expectations natin sa pag-increase ng fitness natin. Ganyan siya, straight line. So ano ba yung blue line na yan? Blue line, yan yung fitness. Pinagsama ko na yung results plus performance or yung gaining strength natin. So ganyan ang expectation natin sa progressive overload. Straight line siya. However, as we continue our fitness journey, magigets natin na hindi pala siya ganyan. Hindi pala siya straight line. Kasi kung straight line yan, baka lahat tayo nagbubuhat na tayo ng 500 pounds o 1,000 pounds. So pag hindi pa tayo marunong sa fitness, bago pa lang tayo, bara-bara lang tayo mag-workout, ganito siya. Sobrang gulo. Swerte pa kung makaabot tayo dito sa taas. Pero pag may MF ka na, or basic cut, or Kaizen coaching, alam mo na yung turo ni Coach Cho, ganito yung mga possible realities mo. Yan, pwedeng ganyan. Pag alam mo na nga yung progressive overload, pero hindi mo naman ina-apply yung ibang turo ni Coach Cho. So wala ka rin makikitang results. You may even regress. Pababa yung fitness mo. You'll learn why later on. The next possibility, pwedeng ganyan, which is decent. Kasi continuous yung pagtaas ng fitness natin, yung results and performance. Mostly, ganito yung success na nakukuha ng marurunong na dito sa Kaizen o dun sa MF group. Kaya lang, meron pang kulang. Meron pa silang hindi alam. Hindi nila alam na there's an even better reality than this. Ano yun? Ayan siya. Hindi edgy yung lines, but curvy, but going up and up faster than the previous one. And for me, ito yung pinakamabilis na pagkuha ng results sa fitness. This is the Kaizen way of doing things. At ito yung ituturo ko sa inyo now. Sino excited malaman to? Sino excited maging sobrang bilis yung progress nila? Can you type in the chat? Ayan. Okay, game? Ready na malaman to? Okay. So when we start our progressive overload journey sa gym, ganito yung aim natin, right? Every week, nag-increase tayo ng resistance. Either by doing more reps, more weight, more sets. And as we do, our fitness increases as well. Tumataas siya. Ibig sabihin, yung performance natin tumataas and our muscles, our results get bigger via progressive overload. However, makapansin natin, nasa week 5, ito siya, week 5 to week 6, yung line nagka-flatten. Hindi na siya paangat. Hindi na siya kagaya ng sa umpisa, diretso siya pataas. Dito nag-flat na siya. And in fact, parang pababa nga siya dito sa dulo. Ito yung mga possible reactions sa mga tao pag dumating sa point na to. Hirap na magdagdag ng weight. Hindi ko na ma-beat yung last workout ko. Sobrang frustrating kasi nabawasan yung binubuhat ko. Hindi ko ma-apply yung progressive overload. Anyone familiar with this? And ang malungkot dito, yung iba, pag dumating sa point na to, nag-quit na. Sumusuko na. And hindi naman natin sila masisi dahil ito yung isang cause ng pagpunta talaga sa deep stage. Sobrang baba ng motivation nila, frustrated sila, mataas ang gutom nila, tapos hindi pa sila makapag-progress sa mga exercises. Kaya yun, quit na lang. Pero ikaw, since may knowledge ka na sa lahat ng to, hindi ka mag-quit. Tama ba? At pag nalaman mo yung magic dito, sure ako na lalo kang hindi mag-quit kahit sobrang pagod at frustrated mo na. We'll get to that in a moment. Babalik tayo dito. So bakit itong blue line na to, pagdating sa weeks 5 to 6, hindi na siya pataas? Can the newbies guess? Huwag na yung mga luma, yung mga bago. Can the newbies here guess bakit nagpa-flatten na siya? Type in the chat. So the answer is related dun sa sinabi natin kanina na high fatigue. Ganito kasi yung actual na nangyayari. Ano yung red line na yan? Yan yung fatigue natin. So as we do progressive overload week to week, bukod sa tumataas si fitness, yung fatigue din natin, tumataas siya at mas tumataas siya ng mas mabilis kaysa kay fitness. So by the time na nasa weeks 5 to 6 na tayo, estimate ko lang, hindi na makayanan makataas ni fitness dahil nahaharangan na siya ng mataas ng fatigue natin. Is the reason why we can't add resistance anymore. We might even regress due to high fatigue. Itong 2 points na to, level ng week number 6, just before week 7, ito yung peak fatigue natin at ito rin yung pag-stock or pag-regress natin. Ang tawag dito, overreaching phase. So we can just define this as our peak fatigue state resulting in a short-term drop in performance capacity. Here, we're not just talking about muscle fatigue, but the systemic fatigue, yung overall fatigue natin. Ang symptoms ng overreaching are this: fatigue, low energy, general tiredness. Ang hirap bumangon sa kama. Ayan, na-experience ko yan. Low motivation to work out, feeling unwell, disrupted sleep, needing more coffee throughout the day, slight loss of performance, mood fluctuations, altered heart rates and blood pressure, malalang dip talaga. And ako, since I meditate regularly for years, sensitive ako dito sa mga emotions ko, sensitive ako sa feelings ko, sensitive ako dito sa fatigue, sa low motivation, saka itong increased heart rates. Yung tulog ko rin, affected. So pag nararamdaman ko na yung mga yan, alam ko na nasa overreaching phase na ako or malapit na. And for some people, hindi sila sensitive dito sa mga symptoms. Lalo na yung mga addict sa kape. Yung mga malakas sa caffeine. Possible kasi na yung kape nila, yung pre-workouts nila, yung mga stimulants nila, na mamask nun yung low energy at low fatigue. Low energy and high fatigue. But eventually, malalaman nyo rin tong peak fatigue feeling nyo as you go through your cycles. At ang pinaka-sign dito is etong loss of performance o yung plateau nyo sa pagbubuhat. Pag hirap na kayo mag-progress or nababawasan na yung mga buhat nyo and you're generally feeling unmotivated, mababa na yung energy, hirap na bumangon sa kama, yun. Overreach na yun. But like our weight, we should not judge our fatigue level day to day. Instead, tignan natin yung trend. Zoom out tayo and view it in a week or so. And that's the reason bakit natin tinatrack yung fatigue natin. Para may data tayo to determine ano yung next na gagawin natin. Ano yung next na tamang gawin. So moving forward, so anong kailangan natin gawin para makaalis dito sa phase na to? Yung phase na stuck tayo or sobrang pagod na tayo. O para sa newbies, can you guess again? Type in the chat. Ano yung hula nyo? And the answer is week 7, deload. So ano yung deload na yan? It's a week of chillax training. Bababaan natin yung weights and sets na binubuhat natin. So itong week 7, kaya siya sa week 7 kasi minodel ko tong sa itong deload dun sa MF workouts. And also dito sa Kaizen workout builder natin. So anong mangyayari pag nag-deload tayo? Pag nag-chillax tayo sa training natin. Ganyan siya. Bababa si fatigue. And yung fitness level natin, anong mangyayari? If we do it right, ganito siya. The fitness will rise up even faster than the regular weeks. Parang may magic. And we call this phase during deload the supercompensation effect or period. Ano ibig sabihin yan? Supercompensation is defined in sports science theory as the post-training period during which the trained parameter has a higher performance capacity than it did prior to the training period. In simpler words, ito yung phase na mag-undergo yung katawan natin ng more recovery, more adaptations, more muscle growth, more results because of the previous week's hard work and effort na nag-build up ng matinding fatigue at stress sa katawan natin. At kailangan ng katawan natin mag-adapt to prevent this from happening again in the future. Threat siya sa katawan natin eh. And therefore, after the deload phase, we're going to come back much stronger with bigger muscles for men and with a more toned physique for women dahil yung jump sa fitness natin mas mataas. And also yung pag-dissipate ng fatigue. And of course, pag nag-dissipate si fatigue, pag bumaba siya, magkakaroon tayo ulit ng renewed energy and motivation. Excited na naman tayo sumabak sa gera. Makakaalis tayo sa dip. Diba? Excited? Exciting? Ang requirement lang dito for us to have the super compensation effect is dapat ma-hit natin tong overreaching phase. Yung peak na tayo sa fatigue natin. I'll discuss natin later paano siya ma-achieve. So following the 7-week cycle ng MF or Kaizen Workout Builder, ito yung kasunod niya. So we will just repeat what we did on weeks 1 to 7 until we hit our peak fatigue mark, yung overreaching phase. Pero dito sa second cycle na to, we're now going to be using more resistance, more training volume, like more sets, more reps, or more weight. Kasi level up na tayo sa fitness eh. So ganyan din-design si basic cut, si basic bulk, kung meron kayo nun, and also yung workout builder natin dito sa Kaizen, kung napansin nyo. Parang every week nag-a-add tayo ng sets, ng weight, ng reps. So yun yung silbi niya. And after, ma-hit ulit natin tong overreaching phase, yung peak fatigue natin, ang gagawin ulit natin, deload ulit. Pababayin si fatigue, have the super compensation effect, and just repeat the cycle over and over. We produce more and more results physically, and we get stronger and stronger. We also handle more and more training volume from cycle to cycle. So ito yung fitness fatigue model na simplified version. Nakuha ba ng lahat? Clear ba to? Naintindihan nyo ba bakit ginagawa na natin deload? Bakit tayo napapagod? Bakit yung pagod kailangan siya for us to get to the next level results? Gets nyo na? At itong sa ilalim, itong weeks before deload. Ayan, yung mga nasa baba. Ang tawag dyan sa fitness, linggo ng fitness, is mesocycle or training block. Like itong weeks 1 to 7, yan yung mesocycle 1. Before tayo mag-deload. Tapos next training cycle, mesocycle number 2. Ganun siya. Gets ba to guys? May mga aha moments na ba kayo? Can you type in the chat if everything is making sense now? Di ba saya? Yung iba, hanggang dito lang. Tapos ipupush nila, tapos quit na sila kasi hindi sila umangat. Kasi yung iba, ayaw maniwala sa deload. Ito, gym goer stages. Meron tayong 3 stages ng gym goers. Stage 1, ito kayo dati. Buhat lang ng buhat. I'll be the hardest working person in the room. Balls to the wall dapat sa gym. Ang goal is to get tired every session. Quit dahil wala nang results, pagod na pagod pa. Stage 2, ito naman yung mga natuto na sa MF or other programs ni Coach Shaw pero may kulang pa rin. Progressive overload is the key to muscle growth. Track ng progress sa gym para you know what numbers to beat. Feels frustrated when they don't progress on their lifts and quit na lang. In stage 3, ito yung mga nasa Kaizen coaching. Progressive overload is the key to muscle growth. Track ng progress sa gym para you know what numbers to beat. Feels chillax when they don't progress on their lifts because they know they're in or near the overreaching phase and they are about to rise to the next level after deload. Kita yung difference? So dito sa stage 2, napo-frustrate tayo, naiinis tayo, nade-demotivate tayo pag hindi tayo makapag-progress. And dito sa stage 3, sineselebrate na natin yung regression na yan, yung plateau na yan. Kasi alam natin, magsusuper saiyan next level tayo. So moving forward. So, ang hindi ko naduktong dito sa graph na to is after this one, yung week 19, ito, yung third mesocycle natin. Since the fatigue goes higher and higher kahit pa nagdi-deload tayo, tingnan mo dito. Kapag nag-deload tayo, bababa siya dito. Pero yung second deload natin, mataas pa rin yung fatigue. And yung third, mataas pa rin siya. So after the mesocycle number 3, ang suggestion is dapat magkaroon tayo ng training block na tinatawag na maintenance phase. Ibig sabihin lang noon, we do extended deloads or may phase tayo na lower training volume at resistance yung gagawin natin for the whole cycle. Pwedeng after 3 to 5 mesocycles, depende sa individual recoveries natin. Like kunwari, 1 year, pwede natin gawin yung maintenance phase every 4 to 6 months. So 2 to 3 times a year. And ang goal nun, para mapababa natin totally si fatigue. Ibalik natin siya sa 0. Ayan kasi accumulated fatigue eh. Pag naipon niya na naipon, ganun din. It will lead to burnout, it will lead to overtraining. So kailangan natin mag-maintenance phase para bumaba ulit siya, para makatodo ulit tayo. Ayan yung tinatawag na off-season. Okay, gets yun? So let's now move sa mga questions. Okay, kailangan ba talaga every 7th week yung deload? And the answer for that is no. Yung 7th week na yan, yung deload model na yan, kinuha ko lang siya sa MF, sa Kaizen Workout Builder. And sa MF, kasi yun pala, ang karamihan dito, ang common denominator is MF program. So yan yung minodel ko, every 7th week. So ito yung deload guidelines na ginawa ko on top of mind. So beginners and intermediates and beyond. So we can classify ourselves as beginners kung less than a year of proper training pa lang tayo. So naka-caps lock si proper. Kasi hindi natin pwede sabihin na hindi na tayo beginner kasi 5 years na ako nagbubuhat. Kahit 10 years ka pa nagbubuhat, kung di mo naman alam yung proper principles, hindi mo alam yung progressive overload, bara-bara ka lang sa gym, ibig sabihin nun, beginner ka pa rin nun. So ang deload sa'yo, sa beginners, can be in this range. Every 5 to 8 weeks. So ang intermediates and beyond naman, yung meron ng more than a year of proper training, ang deload nila, suggested is every 4 to 6 weeks. Eh coach, bakit sa intermediates and beyond? Sila ngayon may mas experience eh. Bakit mas mabilis yung time nila na need nila mag-deload? Bakit sa beginners mas matagal? Di ba baliktad? And the answer is no. Kasi if you look at this graph, makikita natin as we increase our fitness, ba yung results at strength natin, our ability to incur fatigue sa katawan natin, tumataas din. This is why as a beginner, dahil magaan pa yung mga binubuhat nila sa gym, pwedeng hindi muna sila mag-deload agad-agad dahil hindi naman ganun ka-intense yung stress na nalalagay nila sa katawan nila by lifting lighter weights. Nabanggit ko to sa MF book. Sabi ko doon, our strength and muscle growth increase exponentially, but the recovery abilities increase only to an extent. This is to say that the stronger we become, the more stress we put on our bodies, and therefore, more recovery periods should be implemented. And that's the reason bakit intermediates at advanced trainees need ng mas maagang deload or mas maiksing mesocycle. Dahil per buhat session nila, mas madami silang nakokos na stress, higher fatigue, and hence, mas madaming recovery ang kailangan. So ako, saka si Kevin, yung champ ng MF Challenge last time. So kami, by trial and error, na-discovered namin na by week 4 pa lang, overreach na kami. Peak fatigue na yan. So every 4 weeks, yan yung deload namin. And I tried a lot of times before, natuloy-tuloy ng workouts ko until week 6, 7, 8, pero sobrang hirap talaga. Parang ang lala na nung diminishing returns. So instead of getting frustrated na hanggang week 4 lang ako, I learned to work with and through my cycles. So ang advice ko sa inyo, kung di pa kayo sure kailan nyo ma-reach yung peak fatigue nyo sa continuous progressive overload na workouts, sundin nyo lang yung nasa MF or Basic Cut or yung sa Kaizen Workout Builder. You'll find that out later kung kailan mo need mag-deload. So kung sabi sa MF, every 7th week ang deload, pero sa 5th pa lang, sa 6th week pa lang, may symptoms ka na ng overreaching stage, pwede mong gawin doon, you can give it your last push doon sa week na yon to really hit the peak fatigue state. Then deload ka na sa next. Okay, gets yun? So again, kung sabi sa IMF, 7th week, pero 4th week pa lang, 5th week pa lang, sobrang pagod mo na, then yung week na yun, i-push mo na ng todo. Tapos next week, deload ka na. So yun, pwede yun. On the other hand naman, let's say na 7th week, ang suggested deload, di ba? Gamit mo si Workout Builder o si MF. Pero pagdating ng 7th week, hindi ka pa ganun kapagod. Feeling mo kaya mo pa 2 to 3 more weeks before deloading. Then yun, okay lang yun na wag ka muna mag-deload. Tuloy mo lang yung ginagawa mo until maramdaman mo yung symptoms ng overreaching. Or until mapansin mo na nagpa-plateau ka na or nagre-regress ka na sa mga workouts. Then by continually doing this, logging your workouts week to week, malalaman natin ano yung perfect cycle for us. Kasi mag-iiba-iba yan eh. Depende sa mga factors na malaki influence. Kunwari, bulking tayo. Kapag bulking tayo, mas malakas ang recovery natin. Pag cutting tayo, mas konti. Etc. Kung bulking ka, yun, dami mong extra calories. Ang mangyayari nun, you can endure longer weeks before reaching the overreaching phase. And applies din sa cutting. Kaya wala kang resources, therefore, mas mabilis ka mapapagod and mas mapapaaga yung deload mo. Another factor dito is yung mga stressors natin sa buhay. Kunwari, nag-undergo ka sa breakup or tanggalan ka ng trabaho or may family problems or whatever situation na sobrang stressful. Of course, affected doon yung recovery. And you would be overreaching much sooner. Guess ba to, guys? Clear ba yun? Can you type in the chat kung clear yun? Kasi Coach LJ, I remember, maganda yung recovery niya. Lumalag pa siya ng 8 weeks nang hindi nagdi-deload. Ayun, tapos continuous pa rin yung progression niya, doing good pa rin sa gym. So yun yung example. Si Coach Joe, 4 weeks. Si Coach LJ, lumalag pa siya 8 weeks. Yeah, it varies. So hanapin natin yung cycle natin. Next question, paano ba mag-deload? So ito siya, there are no hard and fast rules, pero ito yung nilagay ko sa MF and it's working well for many people. Ayan, ito pala muna. So follow your workout routines deload protocol. If you're using MF, basic cut, basic bulk programs, reduce the weight by 30% to 50%. If you're using the Kaizen Workout Builder, use the same weights you're using the week before the deload. So ab workouts included. So again, wala namang hard, fast rules sa pagdi-deload. So kung ano yung ginagamit mong program, yun yung sundin mong deload protocol. Next, reduce all your workout sets by 1 to 2. If you're doing 4 sets, make it only 2. If you're doing 3 sets, make it only 2. Ab workouts included. Next, reduce steps or your cardio activity by 20 to 30%. The goal of this week is to dissipate fatigue. Next, reduce the number of reps by 1 to 3, depending on the workout you're using. And lastly, after mo mag-deload and resuming your training cycle, lower your max exercises weight by 1 level and start again from there. For example, bench press mo sa week before deload is 100 pounds. Yan yung max mo, for example. During deload, ang weight na gagamitin mo is 30%, 50% below kung sinusundan mo yung MF, BC, BB programs. So, pwedeng gagamitin mong weight 50 pounds to 70 pounds. And then, after deload, instead of talon ka agad sa 100 pounds, gawin mo muna 90 or 95 pounds. This to give you some room for momentum to take place. Hindi yung week 1 pa lang, sobrang hirap na agad lahat ng mga exercises mo. Basta ang importante, every training block natin, every mesocycle natin, before tayo mag-deload, lagi tayong may new record doon sa mga binubuhat natin. Meron tayong personal records. Gets ba yun, guys? And girls? Okay, move tayo. What if I don't take deloads or what if I half-ass it? So matigas ulo mo, hindi mo sinunod si Coach Joe, hindi ka natakot dun sa overtraining, ganito mangyayari. So once we reach peak fatigue, overreaching stage, tapos balls to the wall pa rin yung workout natin, gusto pa rin natin paguran, ito yung kasunod niya. Tataas lalo yung fatigue at yung fitness natin, magre-regress siya ng tuluyan. Leading you to overtraining. So yung overtraining, different siya sa overreaching. Yan, long recovery, dissipation of fatigue, unusual muscle pains and injuries, drastic strength loss, performance drops, muscle loss, sickness, chronic symptoms of overreaching. So we don't want to get to this stage dahil matagal yung recovery dito. It will vary but it will take more a week, sometimes months of deload or total rest para makabalik sa normal state. O, diba? Hirap nun. Para ka naka-aksidente, nabalian ng buto. Antay mo na mag-heal yung bones mo before you can exercise again. So pag napunta ka dito, ang dami na sayang na oras. Instead yung time na yon, gumaganda na sana lalo yung katawan mo. So sa mga nag-iisip, i-half-ass or skip yung deloads nila, ito yung sagot ko. Deloads are never a waste of time. It's taking one step backward so we can move 3 steps forward. Those who skip deloads or half-ass it are the ones wasting a lot more time. So huwag natin hayaan, huwag natin i-half-ass, huwag natin skip. And I'm sure, pag na-hit mo naman yung totoong fatigue, ikaw na mismo maghahanap ng deload. Next question. What if I don't hit peak fatigue or overreaching phase before I deload? So dito, ganito yung mangyayari. Pag di mo na-hit yung fatigue, yung peak fatigue, bago ka mag-deload, ganyan lang siya. Wala naman negative effects, but we're still going to progress normally. Tataas pa rin si fitness over time. So kung nag-worry ka na hindi ka sensitive sa katawan mo to experience the signs of fatigue, okay lang yun. Deload ka lang every 5 to 8 weeks. Also, when you deload before reaching the overreaching phase, less risk sa workout plateaus and regressions. So nilagay ko less risk kasi lahat naman tayo magkakaroon tayo ng workouts na hindi tayo makapag-progress. So dito, less risk lang. Less risk dahil yung fatigue natin, hindi naman siya aangat ng sobrang taas na magkakos na siya ng performance regression. Kaya lang, downside, in theory, wala tayong ma-experience na super compensation effect when we deload. Hindi natin ma-experience yung bigger jump sa fitness kumpara dun sa pag naabot natin yung peak fatigue talaga. Mapapabalang natin si fatigue but our fitness will remain the same or even regress a little dahil nade-condition tayo during deload weeks. Ayan yung flat line. But overall, still a good plan. So again, kung nag-worry ka na hindi ka sensitive sa katawan mo, na i-experience yung signs ng overreaching at yung fatigue, okay lang yun. You can still choose this method. Next, what if I hit peak fatigue, overreaching phase before I deload? So ito yung model na diniscuss natin kanina. Reinforce lang natin. Ganyan siya. We will experience a slight dip in strength or performance dahil mataas yung fatigue levels. On the good side, ma-experience natin yung super compensation once we do our deloads. Yung net progress natin over the long term, mas malaki kumpara dun sa walang overreaching phase. Pag kinumpare natin, diba, mas mataas yung talon dito ng fitness kumpara dito. Mas mataas yung talon niya, though accompanied to ng mas madaming risk. So ano yung mga risk na yun? Yung mag-ego lift tayo, pumangit yung form natin, mandaya tayo sa reps kasi sobrang pagod na natin. And of course, kung hindi on point yung form natin, haluan pa ng matinding fatigue, mas mataas yung chance ng injury. So pagsasalang tayo sa final week before deload, I call this Hell Week. Let's always set an intention na gagawin natin lahat ng exercises using proper form at hindi tayo mag-ego lift. Clear yun? So yun yung disclaimer dito. Next, how do I make sure na ma-hit ko yung overreaching phase before I deload. So dito, para makasiguro tayo na ma-hit tong peak fatigue before deloading at para mag-benefit tayo sa super compensation effect, ang need natin gawin is planuhin natin yung week before deload. Which is dito sa model na to, week number 6, saka week number 13. Ayan yung sa MF or Kaizen Workout Builder. Ayan, yung nilagyan ko ng red. So ang gagawin natin dito, to really make sure na sulit yung deload natin, is we're going to apply some intensity techniques sa mga exercises natin for the whole week. So weeks 1 to 5, normal progressive overloading scheme. At tuloy-tuloy yung pag-a-add natin ng reps or weight. Pero pagdating natin ng week number 6, yung week before deload, we're going to take the intensity up by another level. And ganun din yung next mesocycle or training block natin. Weeks 8 to 12, normal progressive overloading. Week number 13, dadagdagan natin ng intensity techniques. And ang reason for that, kasi gusto nga natin i-hit yung peak na fatigue natin para masulit si deload. So ano ba yung mga intensity techniques yan? Dito na papasok yung pagkaano natin, bro science. Di ba yung maraming pauso sa gym, mostly sa bakal gym yan eh. Dito na natin sila magagamit talaga. O, intensity techniques, ito yung mga samples yan. O, simplest one, just take your sets to muscular failure or RPE 10. Ang ibig sabihin yan yung point na hindi mo na magagawa even 1 rep kahit ano pang pilit mo. Yun yung RPE 10 or training to failure. Favorite ko tong technique na to, if you would call it technique, dahil the week before the deload, I'm looking forward lagi sa mga all-time personal records na magagawa ko sa mga exercises. Eh kunwari, week number 6 na, we're really setting the bar high dahil ang goal natin is to reach failure. So kailangan natin gawin, dagdagan yung buhat natin, taasan yung reps hanggang sa hindi na natin kaya. And pag na-accomplish natin yung target weight or sobrang laki ng nadagdag natin sa buhat natin, ay ibang confidence yung mabibigay sa atin. Ang reaction usually dyan, ay shit, kaya ko pala yung 150 pounds sa bench. Shit, sobrang saya ko, nabuhat ko yung 200 pounds. Then yung 200 pounds na yun na yung magiging normal set mo sa next training block. I just have to warn you though, perfect form and technique is a complete must. Again, ayaw natin magkaroon ka ng injury, so keep this in mind. Pag na-injure ka, sayang yung time. And next, never do the RPE 10 or training to failure sa mga risky exercises like squats and bench press na walang safety racks or pins. Kung wala kang safety racks, pins, or spotter, huwag mo na lang gawin tong training to failure kasi mahirap na. Delikado talaga. So okay lang na skip mo to, madami ka pang pwedeng pagpilian dito na intensity techniques. O yan, before we move forward, ano ba ibig sabihin ng RPE 10, training to failure na yan? So ibig sabihin lang yan, it means that even if I point a gun to your head or threaten to kidnap your family, you're not going to be able to lift that weight anymore using proper form. Wala na talaga. Scary ito but exciting since dito ka talaga makakuha ng personal records. So pakita ko sa inyo yung video ni Jeff Nippard. Lalagay ko ito sa sa action items niya, pero yan, pakita ko lang kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng RPE 10. Oh, wait pala. Yung RIR dito, oops. Yung RIR dito, kabaliktaran lang yan ng RPE 10. Ibig sabihin, pag RIR 0, RIR ibig sabihin reps in reserve. Yung RPE naman, rate of perceived exertion. So parang baliktad lang sila. Pag RIR 0 na, yun na yung equivalent ng RPE 10. So move natin forward para makita nyo na agad. So ito to, yan. Okay, alam nyo na yung RPE 10. O sige, ibang exercises. Leg press. Kasi most sa atin, mahirap na kala natin, hindi na kaya ng isa pa. Pero ang dami pa pala natin reserve. Okay. Lagay ko na lang sa action items. Pwede nyo panoorin lahat. Okay tayo sa RPE 10, training failure. Move tayo sa next technique. And if you don't want to take your set to failure, takot kayo, you can just simply add sets. Pwede kayo mag-add ng 1 to 2. Okay na yan. Next is you can also add additional exercises. For the body part, you want to train more. Add then 2 to 3 sets of that. Okay na yun. Ito, this one's safer than taking your set to RPE 10 or training to failure. Pwede kayo mag-drop sets, supersets, or X sets. Example ng supersets sa bench press. Let's say, naka 9 reps ka na. Feeling mo, di mo na mabuhat yung next rep. Pwede mo siyang ilapag, re-rack mo, then just combine it with the superset of push-ups or any safe exercise na matatarget mo yung chest. Paglapag mo ng bench, do 10 push-ups until muscular failure. So something like that. Yun yung supersets. Drop sets naman, let's say you're doing lunges, 40 pounds. Tapos napagod ka na sa 9th rep. Pwede mo ilapag yung weight na yun, then kuha ka ng 25 pounds na dumbbell. Then do more reps again until ma-hit mo yung failure dun sa lunges. Kaya siya tinawag na drop set kasi tinadrop mo yung weight as you're doing sets back to back. Okay, gets yun? Kung confused kayo dito guys and girls, madali lang na siya i-Google, YouTube. Mag-search ka lang ng term na drop sets, supersets, kaya makikita nyo na yun. Yung X sets naman, ito yung add-ons sa MF o basic bulk and basic cut na programs. Basically, ito yung tinatawag kong set finishers. Ang goal dito is to really intensify all the final sets and really feel the pain and burn sa muscles. Kaya siya finishers. Hindi ko ito maturo dito in detail kasi yung ibang members binili itong add-ons. So, para lang fair. Next technique, intensity technique, increasing workout frequency by 1 day. So, kung 3 times a week workout ka, usually, yung final week mo before deload, gawin mo 4. So, kung 4 times ka, make it 5. Ayun lang siya. So, ito yung mga recommended intensity techniques ko na pwede nyo gawin sa final week before deload, sa hell week. To really make sure, mapunta ka sa overreaching phase. Para sulit si deload and makuha mo yung super compensation effect. A question, Coach, lahat ba to gagawin ko or pipili lang ako? So, my answer, it's up to you. Pero ang suggestion ko, pili ka lang ng 1 to 2, 1 to 3 dyan. Kasi pag may desire ka na gawin lahat yan, ibig sabihin, ang layo mo pa dun sa fatigue state. Kasi ako, honestly, ito lang. Kahit ito lang. Pagdating ko ng weeks 3, 4, sobrang pagod ko na. Isipin ko pa lang itong mga intensity techniques. Parang di ko na kaya. Pero kung tingin mo, madami pang energy sa week na to, you can do multiple of them. But again, it bears repeating, use perfect form and technique. Remember, overreaching phase, higher chances ng injury dito, so dapat pay attention talaga tayo sa proper form. Okay? And I have another warning for you. Using these techniques outside the week before your deload may be counterproductive. Masyadong mataas yung stress at fatigue na pwedeng i-cause nila sa katawan, so hindi sila beneficial if you will always do them. Ito yung mga mali ng mga hardcore bodybuilders at coaches. Ito yung pinapagawa nila sa clients nila. Diba? Day 1 pa lang, patayan na. Ang goal nila para ma-feel ni client na effective is pahirapan sila. Which hindi naman nakakatulong kasi kasi pag yung fatigue natin, mataas agad na sa weeks 1 to 2 pa lang tayo, obviously, hindi tataas yung fitness natin. Right? Burnout agad. Isipin mo pa lang, week 2, overreach ka na, plateau ka na sa mga workouts mo. That means, no progress, no results, no muscle growth. Puro fatigue lang. So warning lang, never use this outside the week before deload. And another important reinforcement. If you're losing strength during Hell Week, huwag tayong mag-alala. Ang sabi nga natin, it's one of the signs of overreaching and you would be accumulating more training volume anyway pag ginawa natin mga intensity techniques. Okay? So pag overreaching, Hell Week na tayo, okay lang, mag-regress. Huwag tayong mag-alala kasi part yun ng process. Another tip, if you're using pre-workout supplements, Hell Weeks are the best time to take them. Then stop them when you deload para hindi ka mag-build ng tolerance. Okay, kuha yun. So balik tayo sa graph na to. So dito mata natin sa baba. So to supercharge itong weeks 6 and 13, yung Hell Weeks natin, dito ko isasuggest na gawin nyo to. Yung 2-day refeeds natin. Since sobrang taas na ng fatigue natin dito, with us using the intensity techniques na na-discuss natin, beneficial yung refeed days para matulak si leptin pataas, which can lead us to having more energy and less gutom. If you have more energy, we can break a lot of personal records sa gym at magagawa natin yung mga intensity techniques ng maayos. As for the days na gagawin nyo siya, any days will do. Basta 2 consecutive days. Okay? Gets yun? 2 consecutive days. You can do them early in the weeks like kunwari Monday, Tuesday. Pag early in the week mo ginawa yung refeeds, may effects pa rin siya sa succeeding days. Parang extra energy. So makakatulong siya matapos mo yung week na yun. Pero pwede rin naman siya, antayin mo muna yung sobrang pagod mo na like kunwari Wednesday, Thursday. Then doon ka mag-refeed. Basta 2 consecutive days at kunin mo mostly sa carbs. Okay? So it's up to you. And ito naman, long-term view, pwedeng ganito gawin natin in the future mesocycles para lang may idea kayo and something to look forward. So sa third mesocycle, for example, weeks 15 to 19, normal, progressive overloading scheme. So yun pa rin, same pa rin. Week 20, intensity techniques. Then week 21, instead na gawin natin refeeds, gawin natin diet break. Gets yun? Ito yung napag-usapan natin last week na pwede natin gawing reward, yung diet break. Alternatively, pwedeng gawin mo dito sa diet break is instead, sa deload week mo siya ilagay mo siya dun sa Hell Week. Pwede rin yun. Para mas madami kang energy, para boosted talaga si leptin during the week na sobrang patayan yung workouts. So, yun yung options natin. Clear ba to, guys? Gets ba to? Kapag tinignan natin yung motivation cycle na graphs natin, ganito siya. Sa weeks 13, 20, ito yung high fatigue, high hunger natin. Kaya mapupunta tayo sa dip ulit. Ay, mababa desire natin, mababa yung motivation natin. But since we have the knowledge and the tools, it's now something we can look forward to. Habang ginagawa natin intensity techniques to really hit the peak fatigue, dyan din ipapasok yung refeeds at diet break. Nakaka-add siya ng motivation, not to mention yung isa pang matinding motivation knowing that the supercompensation effect happens after this time. Yung next level results. Ayos ba ito, guys? Malinaw ba itong training natin? Excited and ready na ba tayo sa week number 6? Can you let us know in the chat? And for those feeling confused, okay lang yan. Actually, celebrate nyo ngayon. Kasi feeling confused means that you're creating more neurons sa brain nyo at nagko-connect na sila. I'll give it time like tomorrow or the next few days. Watch the replay again at magugulat kayo na all of the ideas discussed here, crystal clear na sila. That's how the learning process works. And tapos na tayo. Week 6 training summary. We continuously do our calorie deficit and progressive overload, accumulating more and more stress in our bodies. On weeks 5 to 8, we expect to hit the next dip stage. This is when we reach the overreaching phase, the peak of our systemic fatigue, and also when our leptin levels drop, making us more hungry. Since we already know what to expect, we schedule our refeed days and or diet breaks in advance to give us something to look forward to when dieting. Also, to prepare us for this grueling week. During the overreaching week, we use intensity techniques to really hit the peak fatigue state, making the most out of the deload week para magkaroon ng super compensation. During the overreaching week, we have our 2 consecutive day refeed, kicking the leptin up a little and giving us more energy to complete this hell week. We do our deload week, we come back fresh with more energy and motivation, and with bigger, stronger, more toned muscles for our next mesocycle. Exciting, right? Final thoughts, reminders, 65 days left before the 100-day challenge ends. Ang bilis, di ba? Step up tayo. Even if our habit strength is high, we will still experience non-stop dip stages because of high fatigue and hunger. Just learn to dance with them because they're inevitable. Watching the week's 1 in 5 replays would help. Having high level of hunger is just part of the process. It just means that the leptin level is low, and we have the hacks and tools to get past this stage. Tignan natin yung week 4 training natin. Assess your fatigue levels now. If you're following MF or the Kaizen Workout Builder and you're scheduled to deload next week pero tingin mo kaya mo pa, no problem, continue mo lang until ma-feel mo yung symptoms ng overreaching. And then pag na-feel mo na, tumodo ka na that week and use the intensity techniques na diniscuss natin. But remember, safety and proper form. And additional pala, let's say nasa 6th week ka na ng MF or Kaizen Workout Builder, pero hindi mo pa na-feel yung fatigue mo at gusto mo pa mag-continue, ang susundin mo lang na workout, it's yung week number 6. Tuloy mo lang yon, hindi ka babalik sa week number 1. Puro week number 6 lang until ma-hit mo yung overreaching. Tapos yun, deload ka na. Next, having the knowledge about refeed and diet breaks. Since Sunday ngayon and it's planning day, pwede mo na i-map out kung kailan ka magre-refeed. It adds some motivation dahil we now have something to look forward to during this journey. Yung diet break, kahit after 100 days na yan, kung bago ka. Basta tandaan lang natin yung requirements ng refeed natin. Dapat consistent ka sa deficit at dapat you're losing weight week to week. Week 6 action items are already posted in the private group. Do them ASAP and commit to never missing a single action item. Lastly, apply systems thinking. Everything is interconnected. A half-assed effort will give you half-assed results and a negative domino effect on your habits and thought processes. So alam ko marami nakakalimot ito. Reminder lang. Step up tayo. Have a good day.